We'll go to Mr. Randy Weber of Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Dempsey, these are for you. In your remarks that you submitted to this committee, there was 5 options you laid out: training, assisting, advising and assisting the opposition, conducting limited standoff strikes, establishing a no-fly zone, establishing buffer zones, and number 5, control chemical weapons. Now, I've been through that and I've studied it, and I'm going to go back through that. Training, advising, and assisting the opposition cost several hundred troops to several thousand, in your words, $500 million annually. Risks were that extremists would gain access to additional capabilities. You remember writing that?
I do.
Okay, perfect. You also said risk was retaliatory attacks. You also said insider attacks was a risk, where those troops, the people that we're seeking to help, would actually wind up turning their guns on us and killing our troops. Number 2, you said conduct limited standoff strikes. Your cost was in the billions, especially depending on the duration. You also said, quote, and I'm quoting you, regime could withstand limited strikes by dispersing its assets, end quote. It's as if we gave them a 2-week notice. You also said retaliatory attacks were possible, and the probability of collateral damage would impact civilians and foreigners inside the country. Number 3, you said establish a no-fly zone. Your estimate was cost $500 million initially, and averaging as much as $1 billion a month. You said there was a risk of losing a U.S. aircraft, which would then, quote, which would require us to insert personnel recovery forces, end quote, a.k.a. boots on the ground. You also said it may, quote, it may also fail to reduce the violence or shift the momentum because the regime relies overwhelmingly on surface-fired mortars, artillery, and missiles, end quote. In other words, it's not a very good option, Master Mission. Number 4, you said establish buffer zones. You estimated that at $1 billion a month. Number 5, you said control chemical weapons. Risk, boots on the ground, American women and men, $1 billion a month, which I understand the Secretaries of State and Defense are not advocating that. But I have a simple question for you. Everything I read from your summary indicated to me that there is absolutely no guarantee of a lasting peace in Syria or in the region, and nor that they are American-friendly after we have a gargantuan outlay of American money, resources, and maybe American blood and even lives if they retaliate. Absolutely no guarantee. Would you say that's a fair statement?
I just would remind you, the answer to the letter that I sent to Representative Engel was related to the question that I received, which is, what would it take to tip the balance in favor of the opposition and lead to the overthrow of the Assad regime?
Okay.
So I want to make sure we're separate from what we're doing here today.
No, I got that. I appreciate that. I'll direct that to Mr. Hagel. Would you say that's a fair statement? No guarantee of an outcome on the other end?
No guarantee of the outcome
of a stable,
option
of peace in Syria, peace in the region, and that whoever comes out on the other side will be our friends. No guarantee.
Well, but that's not the stated objective of what we're talking about.
Well, that wasn't my question, sir. My question was, would you guarantee that after trying to establish the objective that you're seeking to establish, we still do not have a guarantee on the other end of a stable Syria, a stable region, and whoever comes out on the other side would be our friends?
Well, I wouldn't guarantee anything. This is, as I believe the last 3 hours has been very clear about, this is unpredictable, it's complicated, it's dangerous. There are many interests that are surging through the Middle East, in particular Syria.
Okay.
What we're thinking through diplomatically, militarily, international coalition, all the other factors that we've talked about today are
forgive me, but I'm running out of time.
To get to one thing, and that's a diplomatic settlement.
Okay. Secretary Kerry, your response, please.
I can't give you a guarantee about the outcome in Syria as a whole, but I can give you a guarantee that the United States of America can make it clear to Assad that it's going to cost him to use chemical weapons, and we can have an impact on deterring and degrading his capacity. That guarantee is what I can give you, and that's what the President's seeking to do.
But at what price, I would add, in my last 15 seconds?
Well, not at the price that you described. Absolutely not at the price that you described.
Well, let me just say, if American credibility is at stake here, let there be no mistake. If anybody were to attack us we would, this Congress, in my view, would respond, would authorize the full force and fury of our very capable
But
military.
Congressman, Mr. Chairman, this is important. But Congressman, not everything comes down in terms of threat or potential future, threat to our country to somebody attacking us. Lots of things we do in preparation and as a matter of deterrence, and we also do it in the context, on occasion, as we did in Bosnia, to make peace, to have a settlement, to save lives. That's what we achieved. And so we have achieved that previously, and I believe in the long run it is vital for the United States to assert this principle and to begin to move this troubled part of the world in a different direction. That's what we're working on.
But
Dr. Barra from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, the witnesses, for their patience. Obviously, this has been a long day. It's been a long week, but it is of critical importance that we are having this discussion. I applaud the President for including Congress in this debate.